Hey friends, my name is Jackson and welcome back to my channel, Gender Not Found. Sorry, there was like a loud noise coming from outside. Don't know if you heard that. Anyway, I am doing a Valentine's Day special. I know it's a couple days late, but whatever. I really wanted to do a Reddit video because I saved a whole bunch of posts from like best Reddit updates and a bunch of other places like relationships and stuff like that. A couple other places. Hang on. I got this one guy on Facebook I'm talking to about some roaches. So anyway, I'm just gonna like go through all the Reddit posts that I made and read them. It might actually have to be a two-parter because I have so many videos. I mean, I have so many posts, but I'm planning to make other videos on all these subreddits in the future. So any posts that aren't covered today will be covered in a future video. So just there's nothing to worry about because they'll all be covered eventually. I keep saving a ton of posts, but anyway. So first we have this one from r/relationship advice. I just don't understand. I just don't understand. Please help me, really. I just don't understand. Okay, I don't, whatever. Anyway, I, 24 female, think my husband, 30 male, is cheating on me / meeting up with somebody under the guise of getting me coffee. I've literally never posted on Reddit before, but I feel like I have no one to talk to. I don't want to accuse him without being 100% confident, but I don't want to tell anyone without asking him first. Please help. Basically, my husband and I have fallen into an accidental schedule on Sunday mornings. Basically, I like to sleep in lol, and I will sleep until sometimes 10 to 11 a.m. Actually, I've been changing up my, I may have said, in a previous video that I'm changing on my sleep schedule. So the last couple weeks I've been waking up much earlier, and going to bed earlier. Actually, tonight I'm going to bed at around 10:30 or 11, so I might not get this up tonight. Just putting that out there. And tomorrow is my day with mom. We had to change the dates because basically since it's family day weekend, she has Monday off as well. So she just went to visit my sister today and she's going to spend time with me tomorrow. So that's basically the whole thing. My husband is a morning person, and every week I feel like get up at 7 a.m., go on a run. I hear him return at 7:30ish, get in the shower, do whatever he does for a few hours, and then he goes to a local coffee place and gets us breakfast. He wakes me up every Sunday at 11 with coffee and breakfast. It's been going on for like over a year now. Alright. Alright. Anyway, I'm just gonna put that conversation on hold for now and deal with it later. And I will be at the expo in a couple of weeks. Literally 2 weeks from tomorrow is when the expo is happening, and I'm getting my male millipede, and I'm naming him Tofu. I already told the person who's gonna sell me the millipede. So he has a booth at the expo, and I'm gonna take $40 cash and go get the millipede. My mom and I are going to the bank this week, so I can take some money out. Um, anyway, so he wakes me up every Sunday at 11 with coffee and breakfast. It's been going on for like over a year now. A few. Okay. A few weeks ago, though, I happened to wake up around 9. My husband was literally already gone. I checked his location, he has mine too, and saw he was at the coffee shop. I figured he just went early. Um, Except he did not return until 11 like usual. When he got home, I asked him if the shop was busy, or did he stay and do some work, and he was just like, no, not really. That was weird, but I didn't say anything more until the next week. I heard my husband doing his routine, and I stayed awake until I heard him leave, this time around 9:45. The coffee shop is 10 minutes away. He didn't come home around 11:10. I asked him again, and this time he did have his work laptop. He said he worked for like an hour. I was so paranoid now that I asked to go with him this past Sunday. He said no, just stay in bed at first. He wasn't nervous, just more being thoughtful. When I was persistent, he got mad. I said, I don't care, I want to come, and he eventually groaned and said, fine. On the way there, he sent several texts with his phone turned away from me. Am I being crazy, or does that sound like cheating to you? I don't want to accuse him, but I just can't shake this horrible gut feeling. How do I even approach this? Um, that sounds pretty sketchy. That sounds sketchy. Alright, hang on. Um, Let him go the next 2 weeks like he was. Let the routine seem back to normal then. Go spy on the third Sunday. Follow 10 minutes after he leaves and see what's up. My vote is also for spying. Please update. Yes, definitely go Mission Impossible 6 on him and definitely update us. I just had a vision of her and Mission Impossible theme music. Show Apple from the coffee shop roof, looking down through all the side windows. I feel like that's not how that word is spelled, but I also have no idea. I don't feel like looking it up. And neither do I. I think it's repelling. Autocorrect suggests that as well. Repel. Good catch. I missed it at first glance. Okay. We need to know do the spy thing. She should install some apps. What apps? And that person. Well, that comment was left an hour ago, so he might not have. That person might not have gotten a response yet. I still kind of feel that way. It's the only strange. If the only strange behavior is for an hour once a week, it's really not that big of a deal. I think there are a few things as accurate and strong as a woman's intuition. If it doesn't feel right, it's probably not. Doesn't automatically mean cheating, but something is amiss. OP could also go through his phone, but should be prepared to find stuff she doesn't want to find. It may implode the marriage. Update me. Up, and people are commenting, update me because they want to know. They want to know in the future. Update me. I'm gonna do that too. Hopefully that works. Okay. Or have a friend be there at that time. He could record or take pics. I like that better. Have a friend go there and FaceTime you lol. Don't know why they didn't do that before confronting him. That was my first thought as I was reading, was for her to go spy on him the next Sunday, but then she decided to go with him instead. Definitely do like the idea of pretending it's all gone back to normal before spying. Oof. She did mention that she'd want to ask him first before telling someone else. If she's wrong, that definitely can backfire. Not if she is telling a trusted friend. Not everyone has a trusted friend who won't run right to the spouse. We've all seen Reddit threads about friends who turn out untrustworthy. Ugh. Shame if that's the case, if it is. If you take this route, you'll need to cut your location. It may be better to have a friend take you and leave your phone at home, or have a friend he doesn't know do it for you. Couldn't she just leave her phone at home and go herself? If they only have one car, she could take an Uber. She'll need her phone for Uber. And photos for when he denies it. Yeah, well, if she sees it with her own eyes, then it doesn't matter if he denies it. Do 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 do. I don't think I would even wait. Next week, pretend sleep. 10 or 15 minutes after he leaves, follow. But be discreet. Maybe wear a gray hoodie that won't stand out. The waiting would be because he may be cautious for a week or two because she was suspicious this week. If you don't want to be caught spying, it makes sense to drop it for now and check once he has grown complacent. Okay. Hmm. Or hire a private investigator. It wouldn't be that costly in this case because you know exactly where and when he's going. The PI could already be in the place reading and having coffee. Interesting. And then another person recommends hiring a private investigator. Even easier, hire a PI. It won't be too expensive. Once a week for 2 to 3 hours. Check phone records for frequent numbers. It will also show frequency of calls, texts, and amount of time on calls and texts. There are basic things too she can do without a PI, like install an app on his phone, etc. Yeah, but then he might see the app and he might know. I feel like it would be easier. Okay, well, it was only posted less than a day ago, so hopefully there will be an update at some point. If there's an update, I will come back and read it to you guys. So let's move on to the next one, which is also from r slash relationship advice. 5 days ago, and it's from a throwaway account. So, okay, I, 36 female, found out that my husband, 38 male, has a Camilla, 42 female. What is Camilla? I think, is that a woman? Like a side, is that his side chick? I've been married to my husband for 2 years now. It's a first marriage for both of us. His family has been very good to me. They immediately accepted me, welcomed me in, started including me in family events. Really made it not even a second thought to say yes when you proposed after a year of us being together. I noticed on social media that there are always likes from a teenage boy on posts that he puts up about me. I thought it was a bit weird that he's friends with a teenager, so I looked through the photos I could see on his profile. There are a few with my husband from about 8 to 10 years ago as well, as well as another woman. When I asked my husband, he said that the boy is his ex-girlfriend's son. He explained that they were very serious, but that she had ended up getting married to someone else. This seemed odd to me, so I asked my mother-in-law about her the next time I saw her. My mother-in-law rolled her eyes and said, "Don't even mention Val. I am so glad that you came along because that girl was so bad for him. She was unemployed, a single mother, and just very trashy. We never would have accepted her." That's pretty messed up. You should accept who your partner is with, or at least support. You should accept whoever your child chooses as their partner, or at least be as supportive as possible. If you don't like the person, then just don't say anything. It's their life and they're an adult and they can choose whoever they want to be with. So you can't not accept that person without messing up your relationship with your child. I'm a very successful I'm very successful career-wise and well established. My family is very prominent in the community and well regarded. The more I thought about it, the more it really felt like my background had more to do with things than anything. I asked my husband about Val again and asked if he would have married her if not for his family. He said that one of the biggest reasons she chose someone else was because his family refused to accept her. When I asked what was different about me, he responded, "She was Camilla and you're Diana." I asked him if that meant he would marry her if anything happened to me. He shook his head, laughed, and said I was being ridiculous and that he didn't think like that. Wait, what? Who is Diana and who is Camilla? What's going on? Um, okay. He shook his head, laughed, and said I was being ridiculous and that he didn't think like that. I told him I wanted him to remove and block his ex and her son from his social media immediately and to stop communicating with them. He's told me that has a cordial relationship with both of them and that he doesn't feel it's fair of me to ask him to cut them out. Is there a good way for me to deal with this knowledge? I'm losing sleep over the fact that I feel like a placeholder that is there to please his family and that he'll go back to her once his parents are gone. I'm starting to doubt every interaction I ever had with him. When I bring it up to him, he gets upset and tells me to stop dwelling on his past. I wish that I'd never known this because I feel like all of my happiness has been drained. Is there a good way to approach this? Too long didn't read, found out I am the Diana to my husband's Camilla, and I don't know what to do. I feel like my whole marriage has been shattered. Can someone explain the Camilla and Diana thing? Considering Charles cheated on Diana with Camilla, that was quite possibly the worst analogy he could have made. Charles. Who is. Wait. Charles? Is he talking about, like, Prince Charles? Okay, what is going on? Hang on. I'm gonna search up Diana and Camilla and try and see if I can get some more information about this. true story of Princess Diana and Camilla Parker Bowles' relationship. What is going on? Princess Diana taunted Camilla with a blue polyester dress amid Charles' marriage. Oh my, what? Okay. Charles cheating. Okay. The love story of King Charles III and Queen Camilla. The culmination of a love affair. Wait. The culmination of a love affair that spanned 4 decades. King Charles III and Queen Camilla's romance is a tale for the ages. What? In 2005, King Charles III, then the Prince of Wales, married his longtime love, Camilla Parker Bowles. The marriage of the then Prince Charles and Camilla was the culmination of a love affair that spanned 5 decades, scandalizing England, the greater world, and Queen Elizabeth II herself. However, after surviving divorces, the tragic death of Princess Diana, and public ridicule, the King and Queen consort have emerged as a strong team, now charged with leading the fractured British royal family into the future. Did they cheat on each other? Did he cheat on what's her name? The other one? Unable to stay away from each other. Okay, no. 1986, the affair between Charles and Camilla resumes. They had an affair. Unable to stay away from each other and unhappy in their respective marriages, Prince Charles and Camilla reportedly began having an affair in 1986. Prince Charles later admitted to cheating on Princess Diana, but only after their marriage had irretrievably broken down, us both having tried. That is not a beautiful love story. It says on top at the top of the page, the culmination of a love affair that spanned 4 decades. King Charles III and Queen Camilla's romance is a tale for the ages. It's not. It's not. They're making it sound like it's this beautiful, amazing love story when he cheated on his partner. He cheated on Diana. That's so messed up. I have no sympathy for cheaters. Like, I have no sympathy for them. Like, I'm just over it. No, if you cheat on your partner, you're not, then that's messed up. You're messed up. Whatever. It's so messed up, man. I just want to treat it like nothing matters. And then why don't you just. But, like, anyway, I just, sorry, I'm kind of going back and forth because of this guy with the, okay, so now that I understand a little more about what's going on, considering Charles cheated on Diana with Camilla, that was quite possibly the worst analogy he could have made. Okay. Wasn't even that he just cheated with her, the fact that he was besotted with Camilla and resented his family for not allowing them to be together. What a horrible comparison to make. Yeah, that's pretty messed up. That's like a messed up comparison, and I don't generally follow those kinds of stories, so I needed some more context as to what was going on, but now that I understand, that's a messed up analogy to make, and it's weird, and I kind of wonder if the family, pushed her out so he could marry his current wife, like, that the family just pushed her out because, as his mom said, they would have never accepted her, so I wonder if that's what they were doing the whole time. Either way, it's messed up. I thought Camilla married someone else while Charles was away serving in the military. I'm pretty sure she had the proper pedigree. She had the proper pedigree, but she wasn't a virgin. Philip told Charles to marry Diana because he was running out of time and he needed an heir. Diana was just a broodmare as far as he was concerned, but she was so young and thought it was love. Phil, she found secret notes and gifts from Camilla on their honeymoon, but was trapped at that point. Why would you cheat anyway? Like, why? just end the relationship if you're unhappy. You have two choices: either stay in the relationship and try and work it out, or leave the relationship if you're that unhappy. And if you want to be with someone else, why then shut the relationship down, break up with that person, and go be with the one you actually want to be with, instead of cheating and making everyone feel horrible. People are stupid. Why do people cheat on others? I don't understand romance or sex or anything. Like, what is going on? Okay, I need a new comment thread. Dude. Oh my god, this comment thread is extreme. There's a lot going on in this comment thread. Charles was in love with Camilla all through his marriage to Diana, cheated on Di with Camilla, and Camilla is now the Queen of Bloody England. Bad analogy, very bad. As soon as he became king, didn't his body get cancer, like, immediately? American here, sorry. American also, so I don't have an answer, but the way you worded this is absolutely killing me. Yeah, dude barely got a full calendar year of being king under his belt. Nobody wants him to be king. Even his own body is like, nope, no being king for you. And then there's a bunch of skull emojis. And then someone else says, him soon, with an arrow pointing upwards at the skull emojis. Oh, jeez. Let's not make. Okay, regardless of whether or not he cheated in his relationship, let's not make jokes about someone having cancer. That's actually pretty messed up. I mean, he's been king for more than a year now, and we don't have any more information about what stage his cancer is at. So it's possible that you're correct, and as a Diana stan, I want to believe this is her cosmic revenge, but I don't know how likely it really is. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I am going to, oops, what did I just do? Read more comments. I'm going to read more comments. Yeah. Uh, She did. She married one of Charles' friends, Parker Bolas, when Charles was away on duty. He only found out when he returned. She had 2 children with her ex-husband. Charles and Camilla had an affair throughout both their marriages, and Camilla's ex divorced her a few years after Charles and Diana did. They were both hated by the majority of the British public and received years of backlash hatred against both of them. Diana was definitely our darling, and she was nicknamed the People's Princess. There's still many of us who dislike Camilla and don't regard her as the queen. Dislike isn't a strong enough word. I wished Elizabeth would have passed Charles over for William. He can't be king soon enough for me. I only hope if Charles dies first, William strips Camilla's title. They are both rotten human beings. William doesn't seem to be a great person either, honestly. Oh my gosh. So much stuff. Ugh. um, I thought you had been too sensitive until I read this. When I asked what was different about me, he responded, she was Camilla and you're Diana. Sorry, but is there something wrong with your husband? Like, actually atypical about him? Because I can't accept that a sane man would call his ex Camilla and his wife Diana skull emojis. Like, brah, we all know how this story ended. Said I was being ridiculous and that he didn't think like that. He thinks you're being ridiculous after he called you Diana in his life. Is there a good way for me to deal with this knowledge? I can't wrap my head around this comment, lol. What? Deal with what knowledge exactly? That not only was this a close girlfriend that didn't work out, which would be understandable, we all have exes, doesn't mean you're a placeholder, but then he called you Diana knowing how her husband constantly pined over the other woman, cheated on her, and Diana was just about the unhappiest person from the looks of it. Not to get down to celebrity gossip, but yeah, at least they're the public perception of it, and he thinks it's you. If I were you, I'd get an annulment if I could. You've been married for what, a year now? 1 year is still better than 20 years and 2 children. Yeah. Exactly. I was there right along with you. I was a single mother, and my long-term partner helped raise my son for 10 years. After we broke up, they continued their relationship without me in it. Even though I have some pretty harsh feelings for my ex, I greatly appreciate all that he has done for my son. The Diana and Camilla bit changed it all. Who even says something like that? I think he was trying to explain his family's rejection towards the other woman, but he failed hard, lol. OP should find out more about the backstory from his family. Please, OP, listen to this. End this marriage now. Like the other commenter said, you may have grounds for an annulment. Is there anything else? Do, 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 do. I couldn't be married to someone who told me that. He basically told you that he wanted to be with her, but you're acceptable to his family. And then someone just commented a hand emoji pointing upwards. I assume that means they agree with the comment above. He actually said she is the love of my life. You are the one my family decided for me. I would never accept that. I would never stay. Tell him that his analogy made things 1,000 times worse, as Diana was obviously nothing to Charles except someone his family would accept, but who he personally didn't care about. As a result of said atrocious analogy, you have lost a lot of faith in the strength of your relationship, and if he wants this marriage to work, he will at least remove them from his socials for now and attend marriage counseling with you. I wish I could like this more. I'm guessing he's fairly oblivious about the long term implications of his statement, and he needs to understand that his words are incredibly hurtful and work with OP with a counselor to get past this, or decide to end it. Hang on, let me go back. I want to see something. Doo doo. Yeah, when I asked what was different about me, he responded, she was Camilla and you're Diana. Okay. I thought, I kind of thought the mom said that, in which case it, probably wasn't his words, but no, he's the one who said it. So, it's pretty screwed up. And I need to move on to another story here. This one's from r/relationships. Considering leaving my fiance over comments she made about my cousin, um, I am 30 male, my fiance is 27 female, and my cousin is 30 female. My cousin and I are very close. Our moms are identical twins, so we grew up more like siblings. My cousin is married and has been for like 7-ish years, and they've been trying to have a baby for 6-ish years. They do have a daughter via adoption, but they have no biological children. She has miscarried several times, and I know this to be fact because I was the one called to clean up the blood before she made it home so she wouldn't have to see it. Wait, you were a child at the time. You were a child at the time. Wait, what? Wait, when when did this happen? Did it happen like in your 20s or in your childhood? Okay. She struggles with it a lot, and the mention of anyone being pregnant and the mention of anyone being pregnant upsets her. She smiles about it to them, but she normally cries when it's just us talking. Yeah, there's no more information about when the miscarriages happened, so we don't know if it was when OP was in his 20s or he doesn't know if it was when I don't know if it was when he was a child, like, so I can't give any more input on that. But if it was when he was a child, that's really messed up. I've done my best to be there for her because she is like a sister to me. Oh, never mind. His cousin has miscarried. Okay, so this must happen in their adulthood. Okay. I've done my best to be there for her because she is like a sister to me. She miscarried again back in December and ended up having to have several surgeries, hopefully, to fix the problem. I know she's been seeing a specialist and is hopeful. However, she didn't say much to me about anything. She didn't call, which was unusual, but I just assumed that she didn't want to talk about it at the time. My fiance and I were talking about miscarriages and fertility stuff because one of her friends had miscarried and my cousin came up. My fiance laughed and said my cousin has never actually miscarried. She's just making it up for sympathy and trying to get attention. My husband, my cousin hates attention and people feeling sorry for her. She says it makes her feel really awkward. Only a few people in the family know about her miscarriages. No one extended knows, just us, my parent, hers, and me. and our grandparents. She has never once tried to get attention. I asked my fiance why she would say that, and she said my cousin obviously wants my attention. That's why she is always crying to me and no one else. She also said she has confronted her about it. My cousin never told me my fiance had ever said anything to her about it. My fiance also said a few other really awful things about my cousin that were creepy, implying we had had an sexual or emotional relationship. What? What's wrong with having an emotional relationship? Of course you're gonna have an emotional relationship. Your sisters, practically. Um, anyway. Anyhow, now that uh, I was absolutely disgusted because again, she's like my sister, but not only that, we are very related. That's just gross. So I guess an emotional relationship meaning like a romantic emotional relationship? I don't know. The way that's worded is very weird and confusing. Anyway, now that I've been thinking about it, I've remembered several odd times that my fiance has been rude to my cousin and has pulled me away from talking to her at pretty much every family event. This doesn't sit right with me, and I am completely rethinking my relationship. I am not sure if we should have another discussion or if I should just end it because I don't know if I can trust her around my cousin again. My cousin has been hurting enough. Has been hurt enough. She doesn't need someone mocking her or telling her she is lying. I'm not sure what to do here. Too long didn't read my fiance accused my cousin of lying about miscarriages and confronted her. She also implied we have had a more intimate relationship, which is gross, and that my cousin was attention seeking specifically towards me. I am not sure if we should have another conversation about it or if I should just move on. This whole thing doesn't sit right with me. This is absolutely worth breaking up over. It's weird and gross enough that she's jealous of your cousin. It's weird and gross enough that she thinks that your cousin is lying about having miscarriages. It's absolutely hateful and unhinged that she confronted a grieving woman to accuse her of lying about having miscarriages. For real, this behavior is absolutely vile. Imagine if the OP got an invisible illness. Fiance would probably accuse him of lying too. I can't imagine someone being so utterly incapable of compassion or empathy will limit sexual worldview to this issue only. I would not want to be in a relationship with such a person. Yeah, same here. Same here. I would break it up immediately and also say what the fuck to her because why is she confronting this person's cousin to basically say that she's making up that she's having miscarriages and she's just doing it because she wants attention? Like, that she's attention seeking? Sorry, hang on. Mm, mm, hang on. But yeah, this is definitely a precedent. This sets a terrible precedent for her behavior in the future. Like, whatever, like that other commenter said, whatever is gonna happen in the future if OP gets an invisible illness. And, like, are they gonna just accuse OP of making it up? I have to plug in my computer, hang on. It's so annoying. Hang on. Come on. Stupid thing. Ugh. But yeah, I can only imagine what's gonna happen if um if he if he gets an invisible illness in the future and their partner is gonna accuse him of of lying. A new story just popped up, so I want to see what's up with this story because it came from r slash mi the X. I 24 female really miss my 33 male ex. 3 years together, even though I know it's what is best for me and for both of us really. And the mod team posts, the sub is only for posts about people who either can't tell they've already been dumped or have been dumped but won't accept it. There must be some element of confusion and or denial regarding the status of the relationship. Please do not post about people just being assholes, whether or not they should dump their partners or whether they are the asshole in a situation. This is not that kind of sub. Long story short, he got locked away, and I hated his mother so much that no matter how good he was about to be, didn't matter because I know his cog cogher coker Kogher someone that I don't know what that is was about to treat me like a maid slash slave for however long he was gone. Plus the fact that it took him getting locked away to have to be good in instead of making the choice to be good for us while it was an option, and not something he had no choice of now he's locked away. I stopped getting calls from him and I wasn't ignoring him. I was just either working or asleep. It's probably for the best, but I just miss him. I'm not angry anymore. All the bad is forgotten. I feel like he didn't truly love me, but I know I love him. It's been 3 months and I want these feelings to go away. I want those first 5 months of us being together and everything was good and clean. I want that. We could have had that. He also might already be out and have read everything I wrote out of anger and hurt and be just done with me too. I guess I just need the closure, maybe? Like him telling me he wants nothing to do with me anymore. I'm still young and controlled, but no longer ruled by emotions. It's like he's a drug I shouldn't have, but I want because I need it. It's just hard, and I don't have anyone to talk to about it who won't tell me how stupid and dumb I am for even feeling anything still. I'm just still hurt. Being ghosted after 3 years plus hurts even more. I just had to put this somewhere, I guess. She's probably too old for him anyway. Wait, what do you mean she's probably too old for him? He's 33 and she's 24. Also, they're both legal adults, so why are you. Yeah, that's the only comment. She's probably too old for him anyway. That's the comment. Of course, that would be the comment. Okay, whatever. You know what? Whatever. Okay, this next one comes from r slash relationships. My wife, 45 female, and I, 46 male, could not be in the same city on Valentine's Day, so she had dinner with a coworker, and I need a reality check to see if I'm overreacting. Background info, we've been married 18 years and have kids, but we don't seem to want the same things out of marriage. I believe she likes me and is fully committed, but being in a romantic relationship is just not a big part of her identity, whereas my relationship with my wife and kids are the most important part of me. We've never had many dates together, partly because she travels frequently and often goes out to eat as part of her job, so it's not a special thing for her. However, last night was not a work dinner, it was very social, with the coworker whom she seems the most chummy with. I don't know anything about the guy's intentions, but they are both attractive and have appealing personalities. He was also traveling, so he too was away from his family. She called while I was making dinner for our kids, and so I just asked what her plans were, and she told me. I wouldn't have thought much of it if this was a different guy, but isn't it weird to have dinner with another guy on Valentine's Day? Doesn't it have a certain appearance? I didn't know how to react, so I changed the subject, but when she was saying goodbye, I said, enjoy your date, maybe to let her know that I was a little hurt and needed to process. She sounded deflated, not expecting me to be upset, and said, you want me to eat by myself? Like she was already resigned to canceling with the guy. I trust her and have no interest in trying to control anyone, so I told her to just go, and I assumed she did. She called about an hour later, but I didn't answer because I still felt hurt. I know she didn't mean anything by going out, and I didn't feel like I could pretend it didn't bother me. And if I did tell her it bothered me, I would feel like I was making too much out of it. Am I blowing it out of proportion? How would you react? She's never taken Valentine's Day that seriously, maybe just getting me a card or nothing at all, but I always try to do stuff to make it a little special. I don't think anything is going on with them. I'm 98% certain my wife would not cheat on me. That's not what this post is about. It's about me checking to see if I'm being irrational here. Would you think anything of it if your spouse did this? I would have at least expected her to have mentioned going out with someone on Valentine's without me having to ask, but I think their plans were so casual that it didn't register with her I could be bothered by it. Thanks for reading. Any insight is appreciated. Any insight is appreciated. Top comment. This is one of the most irrational comment sections I've ever seen on here, and it's very refreshing. Piling on here to say you really need to learn how to communicate effectively with your wife of 18 years. Pouting and making passive aggressive comments isn't going to help either of you unless you enjoy feeling like a martyr. If you're not getting what you want out of the most important relationship in your life, talk to her. Tell her what your needs are. You've admitted several times in your post that she doesn't really see Valentine's Day as a big deal, so why are you also trying to make it a big deal that she had a casual dinner with a work colleague while they were both traveling and away from their families? She called you twice, possibly because she knew the day meant more to you. You still chose to punish her because she wasn't punishing herself by spending the evening entirely alone when she had the option to hang out with a friend. He's not good at communicating. I wouldn't call it punishment. He said he was upset and that's why he didn't answer the phone. I don't think he's doing it intentionally, but passive aggressive behavior like the enjoy your date comment and ignoring a call because you're trying to send a message that you're upset is a subconscious way of trying to punish the individual you're upset with for not behaving the way you want them to, even though he seemingly can't clearly communicate what he wants from her. Ignoring a call because you're trying to send a message that you're upset. To be fair, wise and mature people will ignore a call if they're feeling irrational or emotional because they don't want their temporary feelings to make them do or say something they'll regret or something they don't really mean. And then someone who has minus 22 points says it can be a subconscious way, not always. Sometimes people actually just shut down. Example, autism, etc. She seems to enable it too, given she changed the subject and reached out to him again without addressing his behavior. They both just need therapy. I do get what this person is saying about the autism thing. Yes, I shut down. I don't want to talk to anyone. I have times where I won't talk or do anything and I'll just like not, whatever. Um but yeah, no. I think the husband is more to blame here. I try to focus on the actual problem rather than suspicions and hypotheticals. You want some romance and date nights, it sounds like. Take a more proactive role in your relationship. Talk to her about this, and the two of you should arrange a date night. I didn't know how to react, so I changed the subject, but when she was saying goodbye, I said, enjoy your date, maybe to let her know that I was a little hurt and needed to process. Yeah, this was really passive aggressive. I trust her and have no interest in trying to control her, so I told her to just go, and I assume she did. I doesn't seem like you trust her. She called about an hour later, but I didn't answer because I still felt hurt. Again, passive aggressive and silent treatment to punish her. And the irony is that this behavior is more likely to make her do the exact thing he is afraid of. This reads like a step by step guide on how to lose your partner. Completely agree. I do think it's a little weird. She went out to a one on one dinner with a is he straight male colleague on Valentine's Day and that it's normal and okay to feel a way about it as her spouse, but Opie handled it in an extremely toxic manner and needs to get his shit together before this sort of behavior tanks his marriage. When you are traveling for business, it is never a Saturday or your birthday or Valentine's Day. It is an away from home, having to sleep on a hotel and grab meals day. It isn't weird at all. You do know that some people cheat when they're traveling for work, right? We don't know the ins and outs of their relationship other than they both need to be in couples therapy. Agree to disagree. So it's okay for her to go out with another man who isn't her husband on Valentine's Day of all days? I think you're high. Yes, it's okay for someone to consume food when they are traveling for business, and it's quite common to do it with colleagues who are also in the same city, and then someone with minus 54 points says, "Nice, bro, you should work for a propaganda agency with that spin level." Jeez. Why are people just like, "Oh, she's cheating?" That, like, there was only one comment like that, but still, it's weird that people are just like, "Oh, yeah, she's cheating. She's a cheater." Whatever. Uh, yeah. Okay. It doesn't seem like you trust her. You're just mixing his words. Man's trying to communicate his feelings. Again, passive aggressive and silent treatment to punish her. Would you answer a call knowing you were upset and anything you could say might start problems? Not passive aggressive. It was actually a wise move. Yes. When I am angry at my mom and I don't want to talk to her anymore, like if we get into a fight on the phone or whatever, then I just won't call her for a while because I know that things are just gonna get worse and I'm just gonna start yelling and then everyone's gonna get really angry and worked up and there's just no point. Like you shouldn't be up like no. You shouldn't yeah, have you shouldn't like talk to someone on the phone if you're already like angry at each other or if you're upset or whatever. If you're in a bad place, then yeah, don't contact them. Alright, I'm gonna take a break and I'll be back with more videos, but I have to use the bathroom and do a couple of things. Hey guys, I'm back, and since I saw you, I actually saved a few more stories, so I'm gonna be reading some of those now, and a lot of them are from r slash MIDX, and then I have a bunch of other stories that are just from random subreddits. But they're all like stories about relationships and stuff, so those are the kinds of stories that I'm gonna be reading. So hang on, I'll get Reddit going so I can actually. Okay. I'm just yawning. Um. Alrighty. So there's this really long story in parenting that originally came from r slash am I the X, but it was just the final update, so I have to look at this person's Reddit history to see the other one, to see all the other um updates and the entire post. So we're gonna do that, and I'm gonna. Alright, so the first post says, "Husband wants to divorce and start over, says he can't bond with our daughter. Throw away because I want to fix this and I'm paranoid about more people in our lives finding out. It's also fucked up already. I don't want more stress. My husband, 29, and I, 30, non-binary, have been married for 5 years. I gave birth to our first child in September, a girl. My husband was present for most of my labor, but things went very pear-shaped and I had to have an emergency C-section. The doctors told him to leave the room and wait outside." In short, he did not see our daughter be born. A week ago, he informed me that he wants to divorce and start over on his dreams of having a family. He insists that he cannot bond with our daughter and says it's because he didn't see her being born. He said a lot about how it's always been a dream of his to have a small, close knit family, and now he can't have that with me because of the C section and his not being in the room. His dad suggested therapy, but husband refused, saying he knew it wouldn't work. I've made sure he knows I'm open to the idea if he changes his mind, but he's very insistent that he knows this can't be fixed. Part of me knows I'm basically asking for a magic spell here, but does anyone have any ideas how slash if this can be fixed? I'll try to answer any questions anyone may have. Sorry if the flow isn't correct, I just guessed. And then the comments. He's just using this as an excuse to leave you. Yes, I'm sorry, OP. He has decided to leave but is making a horrible excuse. Yeah, holy cow. Better to not make a ridiculous excuse than this. There are guys who would be a father to that kid who aren't even the bio father. This guy is just disgusting. I wonder if he's talked to a friend who has rubber stamped it. It just sounds stupid. As an adopted child who later also had three adopted siblings, this is utter tripe. All of our records were sealed by the court, so not only did our adoptive parents not see us being born, they also knew absolutely nothing about our different biological parents, family history, medical history, and mental health history. Basically, the adoption center just handed them a baby and wished them well. My point is, even after all that, my adoptive parents adored all of us and never would have entertained the idea of bailing because they didn't see us being born and thus couldn't bond. Your husband is a total ass for turning his back on you and his child, and especially for not even attempting therapy. My guess is he has a love interest waiting in the wings. He decided to give you 6 months to recuperate from childbirth. Why? Because both families and everyone you know would have turned against him if you tried this crap when you were pregnant and close to delivery. Keep in mind, he didn't wait as a favor to you. He waited as a favor to himself and his new honey. You and your daughter deserve better than this piece of trash. Do not beg him to stay. In fact, pack his bags for him. You'll be better without him. You don't need the grief, heartache, and mind games caused by his presence. OMG, this is all of what needs to be said. Good job putting it out there, OP. He doesn't want you or his child. Kick his ass out of your life and find yourself a real man who knows what love is. That's all made up BS. He just wants to leave. Guy's an asshole. The very definition of a deadbeat dad. Spot on. Confront him on this. His child is only a few months old, and he can bond a million ways with her. If he's going to have one thing not go his way and call it quits, then no family or child he ever has will live up to his unrealistic expectations. Honestly, I'm not sure I'd even want to stay with a man who throws his family away over something so trivial if it's true. This is the lamest thing I've ever read, and I would say he needs to start therapy immediately. But I suspect he is masking this story. He is making this story up to mask his real feelings. He doesn't. He is scared and doesn't want to be a dad. He is making up this perfect family dream thing, either subconsciously or consciously. Seeing a birth is not what creates bonding. Seeing a birth is not what creates bonding. Yeah, plenty of parents, adoptive step, and even bio miss their kids being born. My kids were both adopted as babies, so while I have always been in their lives, I did not see them born. They are 20 and 18, and we are a very close family, despite not being there the moment they entered the world. I can't imagine how seeing them being born would have changed anything. One of my brothers also missed the birth of one of his kids because he was deployed. Also, it did not affect their bonding. This is such a lame excuse. He is arguing that because he missed the birth, the chance of him ever bonding with her is zero and can't be her dad now. This sounds like next level mental health issues. Alright. And then there's an update. Update. Husband wants to divorce and start over, says he can't bond with daughter. Okay. And there's no, post because the poster comment was removed for violating the rule. No linking, promotion, or advertising. And, so, maybe. Okay, here's an update. I wanted to update and thank everyone who sympathized with me and tried to help. There isn't much new, but some things have happened. I can't link my first post here according to the rules, but these two posts are the only one this throwaway has, so it should be easy to find. Too long didn't read. I, 30 non-binary, gave birth in September. Things went badly, and I needed a C-section, and my husband, 29 male, did not see our daughter be born. Husband insists that he can't bond with daughter and wants a divorce so he can start over on his dream of having a close-knit family. Several people suggested asking him to come with me to a therapist so I can get help understanding why he's leaving. He agreed, and our appointment was yesterday. It didn't go badly, but it didn't go well either. He was very upfront with the therapist. He didn't try to mince words or refuse to answer questions. He told the man, paraphrasing, they got to bond the entire pregnancy. That baby is made of their body. I can't compare to that. My work started at birth, and I wasn't there, so I don't feel like I ever got hired, if that makes sense. Yeah, he compared it to not having an employment contract. I get the metaphor, I guess, but I'm not sure how it translates to him not being able to bond. Several people made transphobic comments. Oof. I've gotten those too. And several other people asked if maybe my lack of gender was an issue. What the fuck? Oh boy. I assume no because husband had known that I'm non-binary since before we started dating, but I did bring it up while we were there with the therapist. Husband insists that no, it has nothing to do with anything. He didn't care about what I am, but how I did. What? The therapist was very focused on trying to help me understand, and I appreciate that. No complaints with him. I'm still completely in dark, though, and husband has started talking about choosing a lawyer. He says he wants a clean break before daughter gets too attached. Too long didn't read too. Situation is still fucked. I'm leaning towards just letting him go and focusing on me and my daughter. He says he wants a clean break before daughter gets too attached. I can't bond with my daughter, so I want a clean break before she bonds too much with me. Are you sure your husband is all there? Has he had some sort of mental break or something? This literally makes no sense to me at all. He wants to leave OP and is using the child as an excuse. His reasoning and explanations are nonsensical. Edit to add, OP thinks he was being forthcoming and clear/consistent with the therapist. I see his concise answers as a sign of him being rehearsed. In other words, he worked on his cover-up/alibi story, which is why it's so easy for him to regurgitate it over and over. Either he didn't realize how hard being a parent would be and wants to opt out, or he wants to leave OP and blaming the baby is convenient. OP had a traumatic birth, and somehow the victim in this entire situation is the dad, not the person who was cut open or the baby that was yanked out. The dad. Yeah, it sounds like he already has plans to move on, especially mentioning that he wants to be able to go have his close knit family. Probably has some woman waiting for him that he's going to end up doing the same thing to once she has a child. It sounds like he's already cheating on OP. OP should look for evidence of an affair before he moves out. It'll help with the divorce and possibly with alimony. Alright. And then, likely final update husband wants to divorce, start over. This is probably going to be long, and it isn't a happy update. Yeah, I figured, which is unfortunate. I'm sorry, OP, that sucks. My other post can be seen in my post history, but the short of it is that I, 30 non binary, gave birth to my daughter in September. My STBX, be soon to be ex husband, 29 male, did not see her birth. Things went very badly, and I needed emergency intervention. He was not in the room for the C-section. About a month and a half ago, he informed me that he cannot bond with her because he did not see her be born and he wants to divorce so he can start over on his dreams of a close-knit family. We have filed for divorce. I have taken my daughter and moved back in with my parents, who aren't very happy about the divorce but are thrilled to have the chance to nanny my daughter. Their words, not mine. Life was in stasis for about a week after my last post until a father-in-law asked us to come over for dinner. He informed me that soon-to-be ex has asked for his help paying for a lawyer. He had agreed with the requirement that we all sit down and have one last talk about the situation. He opened with saying that he thinks that getting this over with would be best for me and daughter. Soon-to-be ex looked a little hurt at this, so he's willing to help, but he wanted to take one last shot at fixing it. The one last shot ended up being several hours of talking. Father-in-law bluntly demanded that soon-to-be-ex explain his reasoning. Soon-to-be-ex repeated the can't bond thing, and father-in-law asked why. The employment contract analogy was brought up again. After much back and forth, and what do you mean by this, why that, father-in-law just said, I'm not buying this. What's the real reason, soon-to-be-ex? Soon-to-be-ex insisted until the end that what he'd been saying all along was his reasoning. He did not see daughter be born so we can't bond. He tried, he insisted. The connection isn't there. He was supposed to connect when the daughter was born. There was supposed to be a spark of connection between them. But that spark can only happen right at birth, I guess. In his mind, he can't get it now. Father-in-law asked if soon-to-be-ex thought daughter wasn't his, and soon-to-be-ex insists he has no doubt he is the daughter's biological father. Father-in-law asked if soon-to-be-ex was seeing someone else. Was there a woman or another pregnancy somewhere? Soon-to-be-ex did not react well to this. He threw his phone down on the table and said that we were free to search it. He's not a scumbag. After that, the conversation turned to post-divorce life. Soon-to-be-ex said offered up that he'd been running the numbers and would offer 50 per month alimony and 50 per month in child support. He doesn't have to do either, mind, because we're divorcing and he wants to cut all ties with the kid, but he wants to be fair. $50 in alimony, whatever. I have a job and a roof over our heads. I don't need it. $50 in child support, that is a lot less, whatever. But I'm refusing to stress about it. The court will handle child support amounts. I'm making myself not be angry and letting them deal with it. I admit I turned out most of the rest of father-in-law's attempts to talk sense into his son after that comment. I think that was when the coffin finally nailed itself shut. I started packing when we got home and went to my parents' house the next day. I'm no longer talking to my soon-to-be ex. His lawyer talks to mine. We haven't spoken in about 3 weeks. I don't think I need to tell you that he hasn't shown any concern for my daughter, but here I am anyway. The day after I got there, my sister kidnapped me to her place. We got very drunk. My daughter was with her parents, not us. Talked about everything, and I screamed a lot. I got most of it out of my system. After that, we had more drinks and watched terrible horror movies. I woke up the next day with a headache from hell, but otherwise feeling better than I had in a long time. My job can't transfer me, just my luck, but I've been promised a glowing reference, and I'm cashing out what little paid leave I have left to add to my savings. My father-in-law asked after the failed conversation if I would be cutting him off. I assured him that he might not see us as much because of how far away my parents live, and not knowing where I'll end up, but he's not getting rid of me or my daughter that easily. He was very happy to hear that. So that's where I am. The papers have been filed, and my daughter and I have moved out of the house. I'm doing my best to ignore my soon to be ex's existence. Thank you all again for listening to me cry and complain over the past couple months. Oh my god, what a toolbox. I'm so sorry you're going through this. Also, hard lol to have to I don't have to do anything because I'm divorcing you and cutting ties with my child, but out of the goodness of my heart, I'll give you $50 a month. I know you can support yourself and your child on your own, but your child deserves every penny that the courts award. You are 100% correct to let the lawyers handle this from here and tell them to get everything they can. Yeah, this guy is going to be in for a shock when family court tells him child support isn't reduced just because you really don't feel like being a dad anymore. Then again, might be best to have him sign away rights entirely so he can't come slinking back in at some point. Excuse me, Judge, but I did not see the child actually come out of the universe, so I expect a discount on my child support. I'm sure that will work well for him. I cannot wait to see the awarded amounts. He's such a stale ham sandwich. You know this isn't about the yogurt. I have to admit that I'm a tiny bit impressed with him sticking to the story. I wonder how soon he'll have that new perfect family. It is so not about the yogurt. Dude has a side piece. When they asked that and he yelled that, he's not a scumbag. Excuse me, sir. Yes, you are. Men all over the world miss the birth of their kids for multiple reasons. They don't spout bullshit about some spark that apparently only happens if you watch the kid leave the mother's body. The whole spark thing makes me wonder what his excuse would have been if he had seen it and not felt it, because after such a huge ordeal going through labor, there's not always a spark. Relief, happiness, lots of things, but not always this immediate spark of love and bonding. It wasn't until fairly recently in modern, at least Western culture, that men were even allowed in the birthing room. There's lots of men who were off deployed when their kids were born who managed to be great fathers. There are also a lot of great men who are amazing connected fathers to kids they didn't meet until they got married to their mothers years after they were born. Best of luck. Somehow, I feel like you and your girl will be better off. 100%, and I pity the next woman he shacks up with, and the disaster that will be as something else interrupts his perfect view of fatherhood, and he bails, then woo? Woo? Then woo. And he bails, then ROO. Okay. We should find out in about 5 to 6 months if father-in-law is correct. Yeah, the way you reacted to that screams guilty as charged big time. I still think your husband needs some medical testing. Maybe he has an undiagnosed brain tumor or something making him act crazy. I agree, and OP can't force him to get it. His dad might be in a position to convince him at some point, but it's this or an actual affair. I don't know. I think the kid was born and he just realized this wasn't what he wanted, and now thinks he can just walk away scot-free. Yeah. Unfortunately, a lot of men just don't want to be dads, and they only figure this out after the baby is born, making everyone's life around them worse. It's disgusting and cowardly, to be honest. Insanely so. Not that this means anything because I'm just one person, but the most cowardly people I've met in my life have been men. Like, I know cowardly women, but the worst offenders have all been men. It's very disheartening. Same. It frustrates me to no end. God forbid some men have to be uncomfy or feel feelings or make sacrifices for the care of a child or sick wife. Obviously, not all men, but many men I've met out there. Alright, so I think I'm going to. hmm, There's a new story just popped up on r/mi the X. Okay. So my boyfriend and I had an argument regarding his female friend, and I need to know the best way to approach her to fix this. And there's also an update. Um, February 12th, 2024. My female 22, best friend 24 male, has a friend 24 female who, as far as I know, has never been in a relationship. Ever since their friendship started, she would give my boyfriend a Valentine's Day gift every year. A few days ago, I brought my discomfort about this since I'm currently his girlfriend and told the friend I would appreciate if she respected my request to stop giving him Valentine's gifts. She disregarded my feelings, so I brought this up with my boyfriend, who also disregarded my feelings, which led to me saying some hurtful things about the friend, and even accused her of being in love with my boyfriend and trying to keep him to herself. Ever since then, he's been ghosting me. He doesn't even come by the restaurant I work out anymore, where we met. I figured the best way to handle this is to talk to the friend. I still have her number. I also know where she lives and works. What's holding me back from talking to her about this is that I'm afraid that the boyfriend told her what I said about her from our argument. What would be the best way to approach her? Edit. Yes, he did tell me I think we should break up, and yes, I called the friend a virgin loser. And yes, she performs this Valentine's gift giving tradition to all her friends and parents. I didn't mention these because I didn't think they were important. I just wanted to focus on making up with my boyfriend. I guess I didn't see what I requested was a big deal. I didn't think it would get this serious. There were a lot of people that were sympathetic and agreed that I was reasonable, and I appreciate that sentiment. Although I would have appreciated more if they gave me the advice I asked for, that's why I came here. I guess my Valentine's has become my sad. Considering the fact of our this was the factor of our breakup, I'll stop contacting him at least until Friday. Give him a few days to reconsider. Maybe the next time he sees my text, he'll realize how much he misses me. Author's note, almost all of the commenters said OOP was completely out of bounds with her request and shouldn't contact the boyfriend's friend. It didn't seem like she really got it, though. Yeah, they rarely do. Update February 18th, 2024. Granted, I knew this was a long shot, but I decided to contact the friend. Someone suggested me to show this post to my boyfriend, but I didn't do that because I thought he would ignore it, just like all my other texts and calls. Instead, I decided to show some of the replies I gotten to show the friend that this is weird behavior between friends. I'd ask if she can just be honest for once, that she may actually do in fact have feelings for my boyfriend. She replied that she would like to speak in private and invited me to her apartment. This all happened yesterday. What I thought would be a conversation about trying to understand each other instead turned into a big dunk on me. She told me the reason she's telling me this to my face instead of through a text is because since I'm acting immature about this whole thing, I'm going to talk to you like a child. She felt that even just the little things about her life that I shared with strangers and then showed their distorted judgment towards her was wrong. Pretty sure you'll share this too, but as soon as I finish what you what I said here and you walk out of here, I'm blocking your number and try not to think of you ever again, just like boyfriend's name is trying to do. I then brought up some family issues she would share whenever she wants to try and get sympathy. Whenever she wants just to get sympathy. She yelled at me and said that's her life that she shares with her friends, and said I'm talking about her life to strangers to get your own sympathy. She then said, unlike you, I don't judge people's value based on relationship status or if they have sex or not. Boyfriends your boyfriend is an awesome person. He deserves every good thing in his life. I thought you can be one of them. I thought you were a funny and sweet person, and I liked how you made him smile. Now, whenever he thinks about you, he gets upset. And by the way, you two are definitely over. And no, I'm not going to help you understand about my lack of love life. There's nothing to understand. This is my life, and you're not involved in it, and you never will be. And you'll never be involved in your boyfriend's life ever again. I was trying not to cry during this berating. Even when I broke down, she still kept talking. Well, I couldn't even get a word in. She said I just want to talk to him. I said I just want to talk to him, but she kept telling me to get out. When I calmed down a little in my car, I called my boyfriend, and it automatically went to voicemail. That's never happened before. I called again, and it went to voicemail. I think he finally blocked me. I think we are over. I think it took me like 30 minutes to feel okay to drive. My friends and roommates tried to comfort me, but I was too exhausted, so I just took a nap. I'm still not feeling all that great, but I'm gonna try and move on. Okay. And yes, she performs this Valentine's gift giving tradition to all her friends and parents. I didn't mention these because I didn't think they were important. Yes, classic. This story has a context that actually changes the whole situation. Therefore, I purposely won't mention it and act obtuse when people ask for info. And then the absolute brain dead update, where OP decided to do everything the commenters advised her not to do. Lol. I just can't fathom being this dense, seriously. I can't either, but I have one friend who absolutely is. She was having an affair with a married guy. I told her I didn't approve and she's gonna get busted. She carried on without telling me, and then 4 years later, I think he's just using me for sex and isn't really going to get divorced. Wow, you don't say. I watched this as the post came out, and part of you wants to feel sorry for her at first because she is so obviously young and naive, but then she goes against everyone's advice to just leave them both alone, and then dealt with the consequences of that. I really hope she matures quickly and seeks therapy. I mean, yikes. This has got to be fiction, or she's only like 13 years old. Well, yeah, no. Things like this really do happen. And yeah, this has to be fake. There is no way that a 22-year-old thinks that the context of the friend giving Valentine's gifts to all of her other friends is important. Because since I'm acting immature about this whole thing, I'm going to talk to you like a child. Mad respect for that friend. Alright. Uh, I'm gonna go to my save stories and we're gonna read some stuff from there. So this one comes from Am I the asshole for saying no to the ring? Oh shit. No. Oh man. Someone repost this story, please. It's been deleted. Oh man. This post has been removed due to the status of the original poster's account. Boo. Alright, so I guess we can't read that. That freaking sucks. Alright, am I the X? This one comes from MR/slash am I the X? Uh, my 52, my Okay, I'm female 52 and my husband, male 55. These are written really weird. Found out about when I cheated 23 years ago and wants to divorce. 23 years ago, I, female 52, fucked up and did something terrible. I cheated. Um, my husband, male 55, has now discovered this and now he wants a divorce. We've been married for 25 years and I love him deeply. However, I made a mistake when I was a completely different person. I felt bored in my marriage and doubted my love for my husband. I engaged with other men for amusement and ended up having an affair with one who seemed charming. This continued for about a year until I disclosed my marital status, causing him to rightfully become angry and cut off contact. And I haven't heard from him ever since. I never informed my husband, and over 2 decades have passed. Since then, I've grown to regret my actions deeply, however, they were the folly of my younger 29-year-old self. Recently, my husband stumbled upon an old photo of us while cleaning the attic. It was under a bin, not sure how it even ended up there, but the photo was pretty dusty. Obviously, this sparked confrontation, and I confessed everything and apologized as if my life depended on it. Despite my heartfelt apology, my husband is resolute about divorce, stating nothing can change his mind. We both got really emotional and we were both crying. I'm devastated, especially for our two sons, 21 and 19, whom we've raised together. I've developed strong bonds with my husband's family, and I know I've disappointed my own. I feel as though I lost everything and now must restart my life because of a mistake made over 2 decades ago. Writing this alone brings tears to my eyes. How can I move forward when it seems like everything is ruined? Dang. I don't really have sympathy for cheaters. I mean, she's the one who did it, and she's the one who did not tell him about it for, what was it, like 23 years? 23 years ago! Oh my gosh. She kept this from him for 23 years. I just want to say, I've been keeping a family secret for about a little over a year, and it's eating away at me. And the only reason I can't tell right now is because I don't want to burn bridges. And if it gets back to specifically my grandpa and my uncle, then I could be in some trouble because right now grandpa's paying part of my rent. Like, I'm getting family support right now. My mom and grandpa are helping me pay for my rent. So, and Uncle Mike has offered to help with money if I need it. Like, he's always there. My uncle has offered to help with money because he's like always there for the family. So he's there for me if I need it. So I can't tell right now until I move into subsidized housing. Like, I have to wait until I move into subsidized housing and grandpa's not helping pay the rent anymore because I don't know what's gonna happen when I finally tell the family secret. But, like, it's really difficult, I'm not gonna lie. It's, like, really difficult. Um, she never would have told him if he didn't find out. Once might be a mistake, but this was a year-long affair and she's still making excuses for it. Oh, but she's going to forgive herself and hold herself accountable. That counts for something, right? Slash S. The commenter who said, I have a lot of confidence in your ability to forgive yourself is an absolute king. No, see, she's a different person. It's not her fault. It's the old her's fault. You can't hold her accountable for something she did when she was someone else. Slash S. And then someone responds with a bunch of question marks and says, What? When someone writes S/S at the end of their comment, it indicates that the comment was sarcastic. Oh, silly me for not knowing the rules and protocol of a Reddit sub. I wasn't being sarcastic, I was being snide. What? Okay. About what? Ha, I imagine this being said by a sneaky snack, being sarcastically snide. Geez, never, I am mega snarky, not a wishy-washy snack. I may be snarkly and snidely, but my name isn't Whiplash. What the fuck are you talking about, man? Ah, yes, the mistakes of, checks notes, a 29-year-old youth. Come on, if it had been 19, I would still be mad, but it would make more sense. 29 is a full-ass grown adult. Exactly. Like, when you're 19, your brain isn't as developed. Your brain isn't really fully developed yet. Like, I made a really dumb mistake when I was 19. When I bought some hermit crabs without knowing the first thing about them. Basically, I'd been asking for a pet for like a really long time, and I really wanted one, and, we already had the family dog, but, because of trauma and some other reasons, I just wasn't in the headspace to take care of the dog or have anything to do with the dog at the time. But so anyway, we were at the mall one time, like my local mall, and then there was this stand there that was selling hermit crabs. So I convinced my mom to buy me some without knowing the first thing about how to take care of them. Like it was literally just an impulse decision. It was a bad decision. It was a huge mistake. I never should have done it. But essentially I was able to get my mom like I was able to convince her into buying me 5 of them because they were having a deal on 5 they were having a deal about 5 hermit crabs, and then they gave me the tank, they gave me they gave me some of the painted shells, which by the way you should never actually use for hermit crabs because they're really bad for it. Um, but I have been looking into hermit crabs again because it's now a decade later and I'd like to actually do it properly this time. And all my hermit crabs died within a few months, by the way. I mean, they were really cute and I loved them, but I didn't know how to take care of them. And because of that, I totally screwed it up. And, silly me, I didn't bother doing any research because they gave me this like pamphlet of hermit crab care guide and I just followed that. Even though it was probably really out of date. And I just asked them for whatever the hermit crabs needed, and they gave me the advice, and they gave me supposedly all the stuff I need for my hermit crabs. But turns out no, that's not correct, and I actually would need to change some stuff and do it differently. I'm also just gonna take a second to say that my mom had a C-section when she had me. Hang on. Anyway, but my mom had a C-section when she had me, so there's that. I don't know like how it went if Daniel was allowed like in the actual room or not. Oh my god. By the way, huge thing. So I'm turning 30 this year. You guys already know that. So basically Daniel left when I was 15 in October. So I turned 15 in July, and then a few months later, was when we were taken away, and then Daniel took off. And yeah, he didn't get arrested or go to jail. That was a whole thing, but it's whatever. It's not like there's anything I can do now. But in that case, it's gonna happen this October, it's gonna have been 15 years since he left. And I was suggesting to my mom that we should do something to celebrate, and she said, "Yeah, I like that idea." So, I'm gonna maybe see if we can, I don't know, go out to dinner or something because it's a really special thing. And I know, like, celebrating a parent leaving, like, it's pretty weird because most of the times when parents leave, it's because they're really loving and they just want to get away from, and they just never come back and then you never see them again. But in my case, it was actually the best thing that happened because it led into an incredible life for me. Like, if Daniel hadn't left, I wouldn't be in this apartment. I wouldn't have this life. I wouldn't have my mom. I wouldn't have my extended family, which I love them so much. Um, actually, messaged one of my aunts online because I haven't seen them in like 7 years, but the last time I was there, it turns out I'm very allergic to their dog, which is weird because I've been around other dogs before, and I haven't been allergic to most other dogs, including the family dog. But I'm really allergic to this dog specifically, so I'm not sure if it's like specifically the breed of dog or if it's just something about this particular dog. Curly Fry's in a very visible spot right now. She's so cute. I love her so much. Oh my god. Hi, baby. Oh my god. In less than a week, the the expo's coming up this Sunday. So in less than a week, I'm bringing home my new millipede friend named Tofu, and I'm gonna put him in with the girls, and then hopefully they can breed. And by the way, if you're in like the North York. No, not North York. If you're in the York region of Canada, in the York region, and you would like some millipedes, then contact me because I'm gonna have some soon. Um, I mean, I'm not gonna have some. They're not gonna like breed right away, so it could take a while before they have babies. But I will have some. I will at some point have babies, so I'll let you guys know when. I have to take a break because I really have to use the bathroom. So I will be back and see you guys in a bit. Hey, I'm back. And I have some adorable news. First of all, I took a shower. I know you can't see me right now because I have the Reddit thing over, but I did take a shower and it was really nice. I love being able to take a shower whenever I want. My balance has been way better. I'm definitely going to talk about like the full thing at some point, but for now, I'm just going to go on and continue doing the Month of Love special. Anyway, I have some really, really cool news, some adorable news. So, I was giving my snails some more like food last night. My millipedes too. I gave them some raspberries, so I'm gonna see if they like it or not. But when I went to check on my snails and give them the food, there were actually these teeny tiny little like white things, and it was hard to tell what they were at first. But when I looked a little closer, I saw they were teeny tiny baby snails. So I put my three snails together intending that they were gonna mate, and for those of you who don't know, they actually have both sex organs. Sorry. They have both like sex organs, so they can actually reproduce with themselves. But with if you have at least two of them, it's pretty much a guarantee that you're gonna get babies. Even though if you only have one, they can still like inseminate themselves and they can still have babies. But I had all three, and I was intending that they were gonna have little tiny snail babies, and they did. I guess the eggs were around at some point, but now there's tiny babies, which is really cool because it happened in the month of love. Like, it happened in the month of love. So there are now tiny, teeny tiny little snail babies. And yes, they are in fact actual snail babies. Like, if I look close enough, I can see their tiny shells, and I actually saw the teeny tiny little eye stalks of one of the baby snails when it was like peeking out with its little eyes. It was freaking adorable. They're seriously the cutest things ever. Another thing, On Sunday I am going to the expo and I'm picking up Tofu. That's my millipede. His name is Tofu, and I'm gonna put him in with the girls, so they're gonna have babies soon too. And soon I'll have some little baby millipedes available that I'm gonna be selling, and I might try and figure out if there's a way that I can ship them. Otherwise, if you're in York Region in Ontario, I would love to sell you some millipedes. But anyway, so back to the baby snails. They're so teeny tiny. They can't actually be captured on camera yet, so wasn't able to get any pictures. I will get pictures once they get bigger and they're able to be captured on camera, but I can tell they're for sure, like, they're definitely baby snails. Like, I can even, like, go in and see that they've moved from one spot to another, and there were a couple hanging out on the food dish a couple of hours ago, and they actually ended up, like, when I went to go wash my hands, and when I go to the bathroom, I walk by the snails because they're in the kitchen. They're right by the fridge there because I had to move them. So anyway, when I went by, I went to check on the tiny baby snails, and one of them was actually in the food dish, munching away at a raspberry, or at least I assume. It's not big enough to tell the bite marks, but they're so cute. And I also put like a leaf of Swiss chard in there so they can eat it. Yeah, I know. It sounds like Swiss cheese, but it's not. It's Swiss chard. It's like a green leafy thing. So I put a leaf in there for them, and Gary was munching on it earlier, and I did get a couple pictures of him. But anyway, I just wanted to say I have tiny babies. Mm. I just wanted to say I have tiny baby snails now, and there are a lot of them. I can't tell how many there are. They're impossible to count because they're so tiny and there are so many of them. Um, but there's definitely a lot, and they can actually have babies in the hundreds. Hang on, I'm gonna Google this. Hang on. How many mm. Okay, so I googled how many babies do snails have, and it says a snail may lay hundreds of eggs at a time. So the number of babies depends on how many eggs are fertilized and healthy. Often between 20 and 50 babies hatch successfully. Freshwater snail babies immediately move into survival mode after hatching, according to the Snail World website. So, now this next part is a little unfortunate, but it's just actually part of being um, a responsible snail owner. So it's a little unfortunate, but it's something I knew about and signed on for when I got snails because, like I said, you can't just have one alone and assume it's not gonna have babies. But like, unfortunately, you do have to cull some of the runts, but they're all like so the runts are a lot smaller and they live their life in pain and suffering if you don't cull them. So as soon as they are big enough, I am going to have to, like, I think you just end up putting them in like a Ziploc bag or something and then you crush them. So I'll try and collect all the runts and cull them. It's a little unfortunate, but like I said, it's like being, it's, unfortunately, it's just part of being a responsible snail owner. And like I said, I knew about it and I agreed to it when I agreed to become a snail owner. Yeah, in a clutch, 80 to 90% will be in the runt category. So, and another thing from TikTok, which I'm not sure I exactly trust because, it's from TikTok, says if you know anything about snail care, you know that when the eggs hatch, there will be over 95% of them that are runts, which will have to be crushed. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but like, every place that I've looked at says, yeah, you have to cull the babies, unfortunately, because otherwise they live a life of pain and suffering, and I don't want that for them. So, it's kind of like aborting a pregnancy when you know that your kid is gonna be born with severe disabilities or something, and you know they're gonna, like. Anyway, but the babies that I do keep, I'm gonna try and move them to another enclosure again when they get big enough, and I'm going to I'm gonna keep them, and I'm not planning on selling the baby snails. I'm planning on keeping them, and once they're big enough and I've seen the runts, and I've seen which ones are the runts, and I've dealt with that, then the ones that did survive and will have a good life, I'm going to keep them. And I actually have another enclosure full of dirt because I thought I was getting a new pet, and then I didn't get a new pet, and that was a couple of months ago. So I do have I do have an enclosure that has nothing in it right now, and I was planning to put slugs in there, but since my snails had babies, now I'm just gonna put the baby snails in there. That's my plan. Once they get bigger, I'm gonna put them in there. It makes it a lot easier. So, anyway, but the ones that I do keep are gonna be awesome, and I really love that. So, it's gonna be super fun. I'm really gonna enjoy having these tiny baby snails, but I already love them, and hopefully I'll have a few left once I'm done dealing with the rents. Um, alright, so this next one is from Best of Runner Updates. Hang on. Oh, yeah. This next story is from Best of Runner Updates. My fiance, 26 female, and I, 27 male, decided to break up, but she couldn't move out due to the lockdown. After about 4 months isolating with her, I've realized I don't want to break up anymore. I'm not from the US, and I'm also not a native English speaker, so I apologize in advance if there would be confusing sentences in this post. My fiance and I have been dating since college, but as soon as we graduated, I proposed to her. However, we decided to get married only once we're both financially stable and okay with our jobs. 2 years down the road, we've also been living together for that long. We now meet those requirements. However, our love for each other has disappeared, or at least the spark we used to have. We became very busy, her with her graduate education plus job, and me with my work. I admit I've been spending way too much time in the office, and once I get home, I use my free time to get ahead with deadlines and stuff. She's also constantly stressed as she's juggling her education and her teaching job. We never had time for each other anymore, but we were still busy enough to notice that. Then March came. She approached me with the subject and we had a long talk. It was an emotional one. We've known each other for so long after all, and we were reaching our end after so many years. She was already in the process of booking flights to stay with her parents for a while when the lockdown was announced. She decided to not go home anymore in fear of possibly catching the virus and infecting her family. I agreed with that decision, and since then we've been isolating together. We're both working from home now, and she also finished her studies in April. Because of that, we've been having a lot of free time. At first, it felt a bit awkward. I didn't even know how to talk to her anymore. I got used to short and empty small talk with her. But she's always known how to get me out of my shell, so it didn't take too long before we were having full conversations once again. I just found out that she's had newfound love for playing Sims 4. I've been doing that too. She showed me the family she was playing with currently, and I noticed that it was herself and me, plus a dog and a cat whose names were birth months, lol. She had been so shy initially, but she doesn't know that I was also feeling flustered then. I think this is the start of me questioning our decision to break up. After that, it was the small things. I also caught her up on how my life has been, like my shitty supervisor, how I haven't been taking care of my health lately, etc. And since then, she started pushing me to work out with her, and she's also been trying to get me into healthier options of food. I also came to find out new things about her in these months, which is surprising considering how we've been together for many years now. These past few months have been really good. I felt like I was brought back to the times when we first met, and I feel like a high schooler with a crush. The thing is, I'm not sure if I can trust my feelings right now. The only person I've had contact with was her, except for my frequent calls with family and friends, and I may be just having an infatuation right now. I also think we're lucky since we're both very free right now, but I keep thinking, what happens after the lockdown ends? Will we go back to being those busy people that have too little time for each other? I also don't know. I also don't know how to approach her with this. She's always been the talker in our relationship. But at the same time, I'm also afraid to talk about it and potentially ruin things for us right now. What if she doesn't feel the same? What if she's just treating me kindly because that's what she is, a genuinely kind person? The only hope I'm holding on to right now is the fact that she hasn't planned on going back to her family yet, despite domestic travels being allowed in our country now. How do I go on about this? And then there was an update. Although I didn't get to reply to any of the comments except for one, I made sure to read all of them on my main account, so I would like to thank everyone for their great advice. Here I am now, excited to tell what happened in the course of 5 days. So the day after posting that, nothing really happened. I spent that day reflecting on what kind of future I see and want with her. I also thought a lot about the past, how we messed it up, how we both got too lost in our jobs, etc. In my original post, I asked if what I'm feeling could be just an infatuation that would go as quickly as it came. But I realized that my feelings for her never really disappeared to begin with. It's like my heart just went into a deep sleep, and I forgot how much feelings I carry for her. I think some of you may know and have pointed out that I'm not really good at communicating my feelings. I tend to keep things to myself, and my fiance is one of the few people who can be patient with that. Some suggested to write a letter instead, or no, or marry her in Sims. I ended up with drafts of sappy letters that I ended up scrapping, and a sad attempt to recreate us in The Sims. But still, I wanted to make an effort to show her what I couldn't say through words. I've heard about her wanting a few DLCs in The Sims in the past, so I had the idea to buy a few for her. Sims DLCs are pretty expensive, especially in our currency. Yeah, they're fucking expensive, and a lot of them don't really have that much content. But anyway, surprised her by stealing her laptop for a few hours, and then once I gave it back to her, she was elated and so happy. It was really nice seeing her get so excited over it. We played together that whole day and tried to solve the mystery in Strangerville, which is a game pack in The Sims. It was so fun. The next day, I found her in the kitchen trying to bake something. It was a blueberry cheesecake recipe that she saw on YouTube. I basically became her cooking assistant that day, helping her as much as I could, and we ended up with a pretty decent outcome that I bet would have tasted better if I hadn't messed up so much. She said she still had so much fun and loved the cheesecake, though. The next day, which was just yesterday, something important happened. We were basically just snuggled up on the couch playing when our Sims just autonomously tried for a baby in the bed. It was hilarious, and we initially laughed about it, but then we got pretty silent. She then closed her laptop and hugged me tightly then, without saying anything. I think that was my realization, she feels the same as I do, so I knew I had to speak up. I'm still impressed at myself for managing to talk yesterday without choking up, basically opening up the conversation like, "Are you planning to go to your parents soon?" And she said no, she doesn't feel like it yet. I asked her why, and she told me she wanted to stay. I told her I wanted to stay too. We went to sleep that night just huddled together. And even though we didn't really explicitly say it, I think we're now aware of each other's feelings, and it feels like a really huge improvement to me. Earlier, we ate breakfast together. We weren't as chatty as we've been the last few months, but the silence was comforting. Then we also watched Knives Out together. We haven't had the conversation yet, but I'm going to bring it up to her tonight. I'm really glad this whole ordeal went much nicer than I expected it would, and I'm relieved I didn't let my doubts get the best of me. Though I still have to get better with how I communicate things, I'm going to learn for her. Thank you to everyone who left nice comments in my original post. I apologize again if there were any mistakes in my post. I'm not a native English speaker, nor am I from the USA. Too long didn't read. We both feel the same towards each other. We're yet to have the talk, but I know now, without a doubt, that she still loves me too. And then there's another update. Okay, hi. I posted this thinking the same people who saw my last post would respond, and seeing that a few users wanted an update back then, I thought, what the hell? Why not give them a little update right now and leave it at that? And now I have 5 times more the audience that I had the last time. Right now, my fiance is sleeping next to me. Yes, we had the talk. As soon as I posted this, I logged out and gathered myself so I can tell her what's been in my mind for months. It's not really something so exciting. We basically just sat down together and talked about what went wrong before. I told her the things I said in my last post, and she admitted to worrying about what happens after the lockdown gets fully lifted, too. We both acknowledged that we worked too hard to become financially stable so that we can get married. Right now, though, all we could do is promise and talk about how we're going to manage our time better, since we have no idea if our country is ever going to return to normal. The curve is not getting flattened at all, and the quarantine is about to get extended again. And then we talked about our feelings. I got to tell her I love her again for the first time in years, probably, and she told me the same. After that, it was back to a lighter conversation, and we basically just bonded until she fell asleep. I honestly thought only a handful of people would see my post. I made sure to use Reddit because this isn't really a big platform in our country, and I was sure she wouldn't see this post. But now that there are like 20K upvotes as I'm typing this, I think she might stumble upon this post sooner or later. Well, then, I know she's going to be whining a lot about this, but she'd be glad to know that a lot of people found our relationship wholesome. Thank you for all the kind comments. I know some people are thinking, why haven't you just talked to her in the first place? But getting some perspective from other people really did help give me a push. I think if I left myself alone with the thoughts I was having, things would have gone a lot worse, so I'm really grateful. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the awards I received since this is just a throwaway account though, but it's still cool. I'll try to answer as many questions as I can and then log out. Thank you again, and then there's a reminder that he is not the original OP. Um, okay. So, well, that was the sweet little story I needed after reading the Richie updates. Richie updates? I must have missed it. Down the rabbit hole I go. Oh my god, there's a, yeah, there's, well, I'm saving that to, my read later, but I'm not gonna read it right now because it's not one of those, like, lovey-dovey, sweet relationship posts. The Richie story made me tear up as well as this did, but in a different way. Yeah, it hurts to read it. Hope Richie finds peace. I wanted to OOP to add Richie's diary. Okay. OMG, the Richie updates. Okay, I gotta move on from this because, okay, no. Okay. And then someone asks what they are. People are asking what they are, and this guy's sharing the link a lot, so I just saved it to I just saved it to my saved posts in case I can read it later. So I'm gonna read it later. Kind of funny how my guy was worried about lockdown ending soon and then it wound up extending for a couple years. Really wholesome though, much needed after the last few on this sub. Our guy. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Guess the pandemic did good for some. Honestly, the pandemic did good for me. It did really good for me. Well, for you guys already know this because I talked about it. And for those of you who don't know it, basically I was living with my sister before the pandemic started. I moved in with her, I think September 2016, I mean 2019, September 2019. And then I was with her for about 6 months, and then the pandemic happened, and my mom actually, she knew how horrible living with my sister was because I'm not gonna get into that, but like, she knew how bad it was, so she actually invited me to move back in with her for the lockdown because she didn't want me staying with my sister, and then eventually I was able to get this apartment, and none of that would have happened if the pandemic hadn't happened. Like, I would have been stuck living with my sister until, I don't know, I don't even know. But, and then someone says to that, I don't hear it expressed often, but some people greatly benefited from the lockdowns personally. I know I did. I was able to spend the last 2 years of our pets' lives with them at home instead of gone all day in an office. I'll always be grateful for that. Oh yeah, Dasher was put down in early 2020, like shortly after the lockdown started, sometime in, I believe, maybe it was May 2020, March 2020, May 2020, one of those. I'm I don't remember which, but definitely shortly after. Okay. We definitely did. Our daughter was born in early February 2020, and then our state shut down about 5 weeks later. So she had both of us at home for so long. It was super helpful, and I kept my job and got better jobs during the pandemic. Oh, that's so nice. I really love that. I really love that. All right. Uh, the job that I had when lockdown happened never went to work from home, though. I was furloughed for 6 weeks. Eventually, when I returned, it made me realize just how toxic my job and industry was, and how much stress I was carrying to meet job expectations. I finally made the jump to another job, and the work culture is much more my speed, etc. I.e., I'm not micromanaged, and I actually get to work from home 4 to 5 days per week, which is perfect for me. Everybody is so nice, and there's almost no gossip, which was another thing that has bothered me greatly at my previous job. I did. I realized a lot about how incredibly unhappy I was. I started new projects because I no longer had to commute and had extra time and energy to do things. I met awesome people online and fell in love and moved to the other side of the country. I grieve the loss of so many people to the pandemic, but it's also astonishing how much better my life is now. It gave me an opportunity and I took it. Oh my god. Yeah. A lot of people getting sick with COVID the first time actually helped me find a dietary trigger for my autoimmune disease because I basically subsisted on cold cereal while I was so while I was sick for 6 weeks. I'm managing my disease a lot better now. Oh, that's nice. And then there's just like a bunch of stories about people who are talking about how they were benefited by uh the pandemic. People were talking about how they figured their shit out. And as an avid simmer, this makes my heart swell. My husband and I were just crying. He will watch football and I will play, and we join in each other's hobbies a lot during COVID. I feel so happy for them. Love is not about constant passion. The passion ebbs and flows. The respect and admiration grows. Also, love is a verb. You need to nurture it and make sure you put time and effort into it. Relationships need attention and care to continue to flourish. You stop putting in the effort and it can die. Fortunately, the opposite is true. I wish this was more well known. People expect relationships to be perfect fairy tales, and if that's not what it feels like constantly, they break up. I'm talking about healthy relationships, of course. I wonder where I'd be today if it wasn't for this misconception. This reads like a modern love story. Absolutely. Ugh. Work life can be so stressful, and it's so easy to get so deep into work projects before you realize you're neglecting your health, hobbies, and relationships. Last year I changed jobs. I don't earn as much now and had to make some sacrifices, but my quality of life is so much better. Delighted for a happy outcome in the story. Hmm. Alright. Okay, next. So, okay, this one is from Best of Writer Updates. It originally came from Am I the Asshole? Which I will explore at some point, by the way. I'm just waiting for a good time, so I don't know, maybe I'll do it in the spring or summer. Am I the asshole for telling my girlfriend we're going to break up if she doesn't want kids in the future? So, the original post was posted March 25th, 2019, so before the pandemic, about a year before the pandemic started, or at least affected the world strongly. Background: I'm 28 with no kids. My girlfriend is 26 and has an 8-year-old son from a previous relationship. She was with the guy since they were kids, but when she got pregnant, he dropped the ball. She had it pretty hard during the early years, and it was a huge struggle for her to balance work, school, and her son. She made it work and is now in law school. The kid's dad made a change about 3 years back when his own father died and has since been helping. We've been together for a year and 2 months, and I really do love her. However, when we first got together, she did mention that she doesn't see herself having any other kids because it was incredibly hard. She values her time alone when her kid is away, and she wants to travel with her son, being that he's bigger now. Also, that she has a school age kid and doesn't want to start over with an infant. We were too early for me to complain about it or try to change her mind. Well, you should have said something about it. Hang on, I have to plug in my computer. Give me a sec. Sorry, I know this is frustrating, but it's the best I can do. Come on. There we go. Okay. Anyway, we've been together for like okay, so what I was saying is you should really you should have said something about it. Yeah, you should have said something about it. So we were too early on for me to complain about it or try to change your mind. Having kids is one of those things you should definitely talk about. I feel like as soon as possible in the relationship, um, because it's incredibly like I feel like having kids or not having kids is one of those things that you just need to know about to see if you can make a relationship work. Because if you want kids and the other person doesn't, then it's super unlikely the relationship is gonna work unless I mean, there are definitely circumstances in which I'm not saying it could never work. It's just really unlikely, I guess is what I'm saying. Anyway, it wasn't brought up again for some time, Fast forward to last night, we were watching something and I mentioned that my coworker has left work to have her fourth kid. She said that she couldn't imagine having that many kids. I got a little offended being that my parents had five. Why? She didn't say anything offensive. She said she couldn't imagine having that many kids. What's wrong? What's offensive about that? She told me that's what's worked for my parents, but it wouldn't work for her. I asked why, and she listed the reasons above, and that four kids is just excessive. I tried to reason it down to three or even two, but she said she doesn't want any children but her son. The way I see it, the only reason it was so hard was because of her age when she first had him. My logic is that any future children we produce will be secure and she won't be alone or have to struggle. For background, I have four siblings, while she has one sister who lives in another state. She doesn't understand how important siblings are. Oh my gosh. This is annoying. I told her if she's unwilling to have even one child for me in the future, then we're done. She agreed and said we're done then, and I'm incredibly hurt. This is a hill she's willing to die on. She's super smart but so hard-headed. No matter what I said all night, she wouldn't hear it or budge her views at all. I'm hurt because I made the empty threat and she very easily went through with it. I'm not feeling valued at all. I love this woman and the thought of us having an expiration date kills me. I want to marry her and have kids with her and she's just uninterested. She also said I was being an asshole and not taking her experiences into account when I totally am. I acknowledge how hard it was for her, which is why I think she would have a totally different experience if she tried again. She's not 18 anymore and will have me by her side. I want her back but don't know what to say. She seemed very certain when she agreed to the breakup. Please tell me, am I the asshole? And the am I the asshole judgment was of course, yes, you're the asshole. Comment from the LP. Okay, let's see if he digs himself deeper into the hole, which is what usually happens, or if he's reasonable, which I doubt he will be, but let's find out anyway. Oh, sorry, hang on. Comment from the OP. Jesus Christ, I am a fucking asshole. Oh my god. Okay. Jesus Christ, I am a fucking asshole. She has a condition. Okay, that makes things worse. I unfortunately do not remember what it's called, but during her pregnancy, she used to have like mini strokes that would make her face and hands go completely numb. I didn't even think about that. Thank you for your judgment. I know she doesn't want me back, but I'm going to profusely apologize anyway. The other commenter said that, and I'm putting value over a baby that isn't real over her life. And then April 14th, 2019, there's an update. So a few weeks later, and I just want to say that my daughter is pregnant right now with two the twins. I mentioned that before, I think, but yeah, she's pregnant with twins. So um and the gender reveal party is gonna happen as soon as she's feeling up for it, probably this weekend. That's what they're planning anyway. They want to do a gender reveal. So, okay. Well, it's been about 3 weeks since my post and my breakup, and it took almost that full time to let it sink in what I've really done. I self-wallowed for some time and attempted to guilt trip her and get her siblings to talk to her for me. Of course you did. Ugh, what a mistake that was. She called and ripped me a new one worse than you guys did. She told me that she was thrilled we're not together and that I'm manipulative and disgusting. Yeah, totally. That left me really shocked, and I had to review my behavior over the time we'd been together. I think over my life, I always had an idea that with enough perseverance, anyone's mind can be changed. I don't know where I got this from. I guess I thought it was a sign of being a strong person. Life taking, like taking what you want from life, even when the chances are slim. It sounds stupid because it is. I reread my post just now and cringed the whole way through. Even the language I used showed that she was right and I am manipulative. She's a human being, and I didn't treat her with respect. I played with her relationship to get her to change her mind about something very important to her. I deserve what happened. I also realized that her views on the relationship were a little different. She had never brought up marriage or anything. Well, it had crossed my mind almost daily because I really was so enamored. So I probably looked insane going on about having three children. It sounds so stupid to me now. Among the things she said on the phone, one was that she found my lack of respect for her body and choices appalling. I wasn't asking her to be forgiven, but I wanted to express how much her and her son meant to me. And as most dumped people tend to do, I couldn't even give a shit about what I was bitching about in the first place. I miss going to the park with her and her son. Those days were nice and calm and I didn't appreciate them. I let some fictional children and my bad habits ruin something good. I have a lot of self-reflecting to do, and while I'm still sad, I know now that her dumping me was really for the best. Thanks guys for being honest. Too long, didn't we? We didn't get back together and I'm the asshole, of course. Gotta love how in the original comments he admits that his girlfriend had a condition that caused her to have mini strokes during her pregnancy, and he didn't even think of that or consider her well being when he demanded she get pregnant again. Oh shit, really? Like, that's a major thing to leave out. He wants her to risk her life so he can have more kids, and doesn't understand why she's not jumping for joy at the idea of having his kids, since he's so much better than the asshole ex. Yeah, it's a little ways down in the comments. Someone mentioned that pregnancy isn't a picnic, and said she may have had a condition during pregnancy that he didn't know about that made pregnancy not an option for her. Then he was all, yeah, she had mini strokes all during her pregnancy with her son. Like, dude, not only did you know from the beginning she didn't want another child, but you also knew she has a serious medical condition that made pregnancy dangerous, and you kept pushing for multiple kids. God, that poor woman probably felt like a disposable incubator in his eyes. Holy shit, this guy was willing to let her die or become a vegetable because he wanted babies. What a piece of trash. Can you imagine asking someone to do this with a straight face? Because I can't. Oh wow, that ups the asshole factor in the original post a lot. Yeah, on the surface it's fine. If your needs are incompatible, you break up. It's his weird, I can change your mind with logic thing that's the asshole move. The phrasing is not great, and the attitudes it indicates aren't great either. But the sentiment of "I need at least one child for this relationship to work," it's if not, it's over. Is valid, except it is not valid. She told him very clearly she wasn't going to have any more children. If that was a deal breaker, then OP doesn't get to make the decision that she'll change her mind after some time. He did this all on his own, and frankly, you defending him is appalling. What? I don't understand what you are saying. So, because he didn't bring it up earlier, his desires are irrelevant and must remain with this partner even though he doesn't want to? No, that's not what I said. OP's partner indicated very early on in the relationship that she had no wish to have future children, and even gave her reasons for this. OP said it was too early in the relationship to rock the boat on this one and thought he could change her mind later. That's where he became the asshole. It's perfectly okay to, and I quote, need at least one child for this relationship to work, but when your partner indicates very early on, I might say, that you don't share that view, you cut your losses and move on. You don't unilaterally decide that that will change in the future. To be fair, they are right. They didn't say OOP was in the right, just that it's valid for him to want to break up if she didn't want kids again. I don't agree with anything he did, and it's for the best they broke up, but he's also allowed to want kids. He just went at it in the completely wrong way, and as soon as he brought up wanting to change her mind with perseverance despite her medical condition, he became the asshole. And then the original guy says, I never defended that part of his actions. Way too many are so blasé about how risky pregnancy is in the first place. Yeah, definitely. Oh, there's so much going on, dude. I had acid reflux for 7 of my 9 months. Plenty of people said, "Oh yeah, that's a normal symptoms. Just take Tums," because of course your medications are limited during pregnancy as well. So I was taking up to 10 a day. I recently had to have an endoscopy like 6 months after giving birth for an unrelated reason, and my gastroenterologist was horrified by how awful my esophagus looks. I've been put on medication to help heal it, on top of dietary restrictions to keep my celiac disease under control, which was also triggered by my pregnancy. I originally wanted 4 kids, now my baby will be lucky to get a sibling. Oh, the heartburn sucked. I was sick the whole first trimester. I got a "Welcome to the second trimester" notification on my phone, and it was like a switch flipped, and then I got the heartburn. I never really got it before getting pregnant. I thought for sure I'd have a hairy little monkey when he came out. He had a few dark hairs on his shoulders and a little strip on the back of his head. He's 9 months and I'm waiting for him to grow his hair. The crotch pain sucked though. Oh my gosh. Seriously, this is the shit that people talk about. Like, this is the shit that people talk about that's like, why would anyone want to do this? Okay, I don't know. Anyway, I think this last one is gonna be our last story for this video. Unfortunately, it wasn't nearly as long as I thought it was gonna be, but you know what? Things came up and I it was either do a longer video and put it out later or do a shorter video and then be able to put it out in February like I wanted. And tomorrow's the last day of February. Well, second to last day of February, but my computer is also getting taken into the place tomorrow, so I can't exactly put it out after that, so I can't really put it out on Thursday, unfortunately. And I don't know what time my mom is picking me up to get my computer taken in, so I don't know if I can, like, record and export and do everything I need to do for this video tomorrow. So I'm finishing it tonight so that I can get whatever done I need to do and upload it either tonight or tomorrow. So, but like tomorrow early so that, you know, when my mom comes around, it's not uploading or anything. That could be an issue. But anyway, I, a 28 male, was about to propose to my girlfriend, 28 female, of 7 years, but then I discovered something. Need advice. Okay. So, originally it was posted March 13th, 2019. We've been together for 7 years, and we've been really, really happy together. She's sweet, loving, and caring, and she's already been close to my family and me to hers. We are really connected to each other, same passions, same likes and dislikes. We frequently travel together and all. We rarely fight, and when we do, we resolve issues quickly. It's like a perfect relationship. We've been steady, and we're genuinely happy in love. Just when I was already contemplating on proposing to her, I feel like she's gone cold for the past month. Just this Valentine's, we were on top of the world, surprising one another with gifts and sweet nothings. But then the following weeks felt different. Her I love yous weren't as enthusiastic. The way she talks and communicates with me feels different. She easily gets upset over trivial things. She seems to be a different person all of a sudden. I actually asked her what's wrong, but she assures me everything is okay and something is just bugging her. I asked again, but it seems she doesn't want me to open up. She assures me, though, that she loves me very much. Then, just recently, like 4 days back, I was reminded that she has a spare phone just sitting on my drawer. Phone was dead and was not used for almost a year, so I grabbed the charger, booted it up, and it so happened that her Google account is still logged into the device. Curious, I went to see what she's been up to lately, then I discovered her recent searches and history in Google and YouTube. I was shocked and I don't know how to react. The searches go like this: I cheated on him. I cheated on him many times. I cheated, should we break up? Breaking up a long term relationship, and so on. The searches were dated from February 15th onwards. Oh my gosh. Almost every day she looks on the same searches and other related topics. I am devastated discovering this. I cannot eat, I cannot sleep, but I haven't confronted her about this. What should I do? Do I need to confront her? We are currently far apart now due to work, but we will be seeing each other next week. I'm confused. I am in shock. I don't know how to react. Please help. March 15th, 2019, there was an update, so like a couple days later. Hello, guys. I'm providing an update to my earlier post. I don't think there was a need for me to see her again next week. So here's what happened. She texted me she got home and about to sleep at 11:44 p.m. She's closing deals in another city and has to rent a place. I tried to FaceTime her at 11:51 p.m. just to say goodnight, but she didn't pick up. I tried messaging her, but there was no response. Remember that spare phone that's with me that her Google account is logged into? I browsed on her activity history quickly to find out what she's up to, and was surprised there's a Google Assistant command recorded at 11:48 p.m. I played and listened. There was her voice and the voice of another guy. They were goofing around at the Google Home device, so yeah. I confronted her and barraged her with a lot of messages. She only replied at around 1 a.m. She kept on denying she's cheating. Then I laid out all the evidence, all the screen caps, and even the audio clip recording from the Google Assistant. She finally admitted it. I am single. And that's it. That's the entire post. She could at least have the decency to admit it when he confronted her. I had an ex who did this. Deny, 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 even after certain people who shouldn't have known certain names knew them too well and the relationship had fallen apart. I'll never understand what motivates people to do that shit and understand less why people would lie so hard about it. Edit some really bizarre and misogynistic takes in these replies. Reader beware. Self-denial, I think. Cheating is bad. I'm not a bad person. Therefore, I can't have cheated, or similar logic. It's also a classic you judge others by their actions, but yourself by your intentions problem, mixed with retroactive justification. They didn't mean to cheat, so it's different. The affair didn't mean as much emotionally as your relationship does. You stopped paying attention to them, so you started it. They wouldn't care if you did the same, but they don't think you should because they never stopped paying attention to you, etc. Uh, you judge others by their actions, but yourself by their intentions problem. The fundamental attribution error really is maddening, and the worst part is that they might not be wrong. You can be a good person for the rest of your life, even as someone who has cheated, stolen, lied, etc., but refusing to recognize even the act is infuriating. Yo, my husband kept insisting that he didn't cheat for months. He finally confessed 2 days ago when I confronted him with actual hard proof. Similar to this story, I found out that his Google account was still connected to our child's tablet and found photos dating all the way back to February. I hate that he made me question for months whether I was possibly being too harsh on him when he deserved all my scorn and more. I'm so sorry you're going through this. My son's partner cheated on me a lot throughout our 8 years together, and when I finally got some proof and confronted him with it, he still tried to deny it. It was needing, and I felt so stupid. I hope you have all the support you need moving forward, and if you ever just want to talk, you can always message this internet stranger. Good luck with the rest of your life. Man, I remember when the evidence started to pile on that my ex had been cheating on me. She just denied and dismissed everything. Even tried to tell me it wasn't any of my business when I found out she's been spending hours with her ex on a daily basis. But also, no, she wasn't cheating with him. Even though just a month before that, she told me she couldn't stand him and was only civil towards him to avoid drama. The denial drove me up the wall, sending me down a fairly dim path for a while before I realized how bad the obsession with finally finding the hard evidence to make her confess the truth had gotten. Some people are just garbage, and it isn't worth sinking to their level to chase closure. Okay. And then someone replies, because some people take all their relationship advice from Shaggy. Shaggy? The maker of the Wonder of Relationship Advice slash Gaslighting, known as It Wasn't Me. That's a music video. Thank you. Reddit is my real life education. Right? Why did I even go to college, even? Why did I go to college, even? Because when you stop denying, then you have to act consequently. If you cheat and say, no, I'm not, you can keep going on. It's logical. If you cheat and you confess, then you were kind of supposed to stop. I think it's to save face. At that point, what face? In my case, she had already ruined a nearly 8 year relationship with nearly 4 years of cheating on me. Even after I realized the truth and I had left her, she lied about it. Literally, all I asked of her was her honesty, and she couldn't even give me that. So I'm kind of struggling to see what face they could be saving. Happy Cake Day, by the way. Which, if you didn't know, Cake Day is basically like the anniversary of the day you joined Reddit. Hang on. Okay, we're gonna do one more story because that one was pretty short. And this one is from r/MITX. So it's not in Best of Reddit updates, by the way. It's just in r/MITX. Who knows? Maybe it'll have an update and then it'll be in Best of Reddit updates at some point, but it's not now. I'm just reading stories from random subreddits right now. So anyway, too long didn't read. My fiance's mother's death was the reason she decided to pursue other men. I, 31 male, and my fiance, 28 female, have been together for 6 years. We have a son together. Ooh. On the fifth year of dating, I decided I really wanted to spend forever with her. I never really had much luck in the dating pool. Our relationship anniversary is a couple days away from my son's birthday, and we had a photo shoot that day for it, so I decided to pop the question during the shoot. She said yes. 1 week later, we received a call that her mother had passed away. I had never seen so much hurt in her eyes ever, and I had never been through anything like this before, so I didn't know what to do. Each month after the death, I noticed a different human than I remember proposing to, so I tried my hardest to be understanding and patient. She never showed sadness, only anger. Anger towards me. Well, fast forward to 1 year later. I caught her cheating with someone who was in a totally different country, with his name saved as True Love. When I brought it up, she was furious at me. When she finally calmed down days later, she explained he was the escape to reality. She didn't have to worry about problems because he didn't know anything. She told me emotionally she is numb due to her mother's passing. She moved and took our son with her. We switch off days getting him. Right now we are on a break until she can figure out what is the next steps. Should I stay patient or just move forward with my life? Correction, she hasn't physically cheated. I guess this would be emotionally. I didn't By the way, emotionally cheating is a weird thing because what's the difference between like having a really good friend and emotionally cheating? It's just kind of weird to me. Why did he mention he didn't have much luck in the dating pool after saying he was decided to marry her? Like that was the reason he decided to propose? I asked him why he was talking that way when he was 4 years deep into a relationship, got the girl pregnant, and was still saying things like he didn't know if he was serious about it. He responded for a while and then he started deleting. I think he meant to say he didn't have good luck in the dating pool before, and if he doesn't get back together with her, he's scared he will be alone. At least that was the only thing I could make out of it, but I'm not too sure on that reasoning either. I didn't have luck in the dating pool before. People in my life was trying to say 5 years is too long to wait, but because I didn't have luck before, I waited until I thought it was real. I hope he waited until they has a whole ass child. This whole thing is clearly bait, lol. Okay. You got her pregnant while not believing it was real 2 years ago? Where was your protection? When you were with this woman for 4 years and still wasn't sure if it was serious, slash, it was real, why weren't you using protection? And why were you still thinking about your luck with dating 4 years into a relationship? When did you two become exclusive, may I ask? Okay, so the username for this person just says delete it, and I'm thinking it's the the uh the original poster person. We talked on it and I had to wait for the perfect moment, which I did. She was born on the 22nd and I proposed on the 20th, lol. Okay, so yeah, there's that. Okay. Okay. So there's that. Anyway, so basically there's that. Uh so yeah, the deleted user is the original. I'm just gonna go to the original post. Yep, the user is deleted and the post is also deleted. I mean, definitely move on. Not only did she cheat on you, but she basically broke up with you. I don't know how it could be much clearer. You've already worked out a tentative joint custody arrangement. Also, what would you really want the relationship back at this point, anyways? I would recommend really asking yourself if you're willing to be cheated on and pushed to the side in the future, and if so, why. Ask yourself what you want out of a relationship. I thank you for this reply. Okay. Okay. And then this person says, I asked him why he was saying he didn't know he was serious about her until 4 to 5 years into dating her. He said that of course he wanted to make sure that he was serious and committed to marriage, but I wholeheartedly agree that he should decide that. But I'm still trying to figure out if he literally told his fiance that he was waiting to propose because after carrying, birthing his child, he still wasn't convinced to be committed to her. Like, why is he talking about his luck in dating 4 to 5 years into a long-term relationship? Why is he saying he needed 5 years to decide if he was really in love with her? Nothing about the way this woman handled this was particularly mature, but it sounds like she's depressed and angry that her mother never got to see her married. That after a while, she just resigned herself to thinking of herself as a convenient roommate and baby mama. And then someone else says, she cheated and broke up with you. If it's a break, what are the conditions? The conditions are basically don't ask her the dealio with a laughing, crying emoji. Stop wasting your time. She cheated and she makes you the bad guy. Yes, the death of a close one changes you, but that's no excuse for cheating. Agreed. Please move on. She isn't concerned about anything but herself. She will continue to lash out. You are not her punching bag. You deserve someone who is willing and able to love you. She isn't. Thank you. I explained to her how she's treated me, and it makes her mad, which is crazy. Let me guess. She used the loss of her mom, and you are not being sympathetic to her. Let her go be with her true love. You learn to co-parent as best as you can. There's nothing to feel guilty about. Alright. Move forward. Grieving is no excuse to cheat. Hmm. Okay. I don't know what's going on. Okay. I'm gonna go back to the original, where we are in slash am I the X. And then this person says, I assume he meant he has no experience with relationships, especially with the long term and leading the marriage was, so he had no idea what to do then and what to do now. Okay. My comment to him saying he waited 5 years because he wanted to be serious when he proposed. My dude, the vast majority of men are serious when they propose. You weren't saying anything special there. You waited 5 years and got her pregnant and then decided you were serious. That can come off as a touch condescending, like the years she spent carrying, birthing, and taking care of your child weren't proof enough, and you were allowed to still consider other options. And saying, "Yeah, I didn't have much luck dating." What does that even mean within the context of dating one woman for 6 years? Where is the "luckily I met the woman of my dreams"? You literally sounded like you proposed because you couldn't find anything better. Also, for example, how long were you planning on being engaged? You say this is happening exactly 1 year after the engagement, but you weren't saying anything about a wedding had to be canceled because of this development. Absolutely nothing about the way that she handled this was okay, and I'm sorry that there's a child that's involved in this, but based on the sequence of events that you gave, it sounds like this woman is upset that she wasted 6 years on you and her mother was never able to see her get married. After 5 years, many women just resign that you think of them as a convenient baby mama. That's that's the view I have of this as well. Unless he does a good job explaining what he actually meant, it sounds like her mom dying made her realize life is too short. Spend it with someone who she possibly thinks settled for her due to not thinking he could do better. Of course, this is just how I read things, and I could be wrong, but I feel this break is permanent, and the sooner he recognizes that, the better. Okay. Yeah, he does need to recognize that. Also, I asked him how long they planned on the engagement being because he never mentioned anything about a wedding being canceled, and he said that he didn't think that those details were important to the story. So, yeah, a multi-year engagement, huh, with no wedding date in sight. He doesn't sound very demonstrative, and it doesn't sound like he has much experience with any kinds of relationships. He even worried that he didn't know how to empathize with her because he didn't have anyone close to him that has died, and I think he said he didn't have close parents. Did he delete his profile because it says Joe Exotic 35? I'm not sure, but I think this is real, and that makes this the dumbest slash shamelessly ignorant husband I've ever witnessed firsthand on Reddit. Yet he deleted the entire thing in the middle of my interrogation. His whole reasoning that he kept repeating was that he wasn't sure the relationship was the real thing, and he wasn't sure he was serious about that. But then they conceive a baby 4.5 years into it. What happened to the protection they'd been using for the first 4 years? The last thing that he told me was that it was a mutual decision for them to not get engaged until after she delivered their son. I can understand a woman not wanting to be pregnant on her wedding day. I can't think of any reason she'd wait to get engaged until after she was pregnant. So I think he was implying that he made up his mind because that he was committed to her back in year 4, but because she became pregnant, he postponed showing that for another year. Then mom dies with her being an unwed mother. So if the mom's death does have to do with this, it's because years 2, 3, and 4, and this dude is still talking like he's not committed. And then finally, in year 4, he commits, but only verbally. And they convince themselves to stop whatever birth control they were using because, hey, they'll be married soon. And he asked them to wait a whole other year to get engaged, which means 2 more years to get married. Because oh, now he's blocked me slash deleting the post. Yeah, leaving that part out was absolutely because he knows it'll make him look bad. I appreciate you trying to hold the OP accountable. Okay. I guess it doesn't matter now, and cheating is never okay, but I would want to hear the other side of his story. Wouldn't be the first time someone didn't know what to do in an emotional situation and ended up doing the worst possible thing. Ugh. Okay. We are done because I have to take my pills in a couple of minutes. And also I need to eat something. I'm hungry. So I'm getting off now. Um I will do more videos once I get my computer back. So I just want to say I love each and every one of you guys. Please don't forget to always be yourself. Uh you are valid. Don't forget to be good to yourself and to others. And I will see all you guys in another video soon. Sorry this video was so short. But the next video will be longer.